Hi, today we're going to deep dive into Nottingham Forest tactical overhaul during this season. We're going to look at changes in how they control the game and how it significantly impacted their play, leading to some impressive improvements. We're going to talk about this guy, the role of this guy, why we could be better without this guy, and losing this position. So the 23-24 season for Forest has been a fascinating journey of tactical evolution. After a challenging previous season where possession was often hard to retain, manager Steve Cooper orchestrated a transformation by tweaking the team's formation. So let's go back a season. In the 22-23 season, Forest grappled with possession struggles, averaging a mere 38% on average. And they were operating with two midfielders and a robust defensive line of around 5 at the back. This season has marked a decisive shift towards a formation with a midfield trio and a 4-man defensive setup. Hurrah, 4-3-3. This change was crucial and it elevated slightly their possession stats to a more respectable 42%. Even in the intense 1-0 victory against Chelsea away, where possession plummeted to actually 23% on average with the back 5, Forest managed to showcase their newfound defensive resilience. Defensively, Forest faced a tough season last year, conceding on average 1.47 goals per game, mostly with that back 5. And this season's 5 games so far with the same back 5, the stats are actually a little bit higher at 1.6 goals per game. But this season's shift to a back 4 significantly bolstered their defensive record, reducing the average goals against to 0.6 per game in the last 3 games, played with a 4-back and a 3 in midfield. Yes, you could argue with me that the defensive setup was due to the strength of the oppositions when we played the 5, but there have been games where we played 5 at the back and went behind early on and played more progressive, brought more attacking substitutions on and looked a lot better. And for me, some of the most dangerous looking attacking football that I've witnessed for quite a while. Listen, it is early days in the 4-man defence and 3-man midfield setup, but moving away from the stats, the eye test actually looks a lot better. Murillo was also a crucial addition to bolster the centre-back positions. One standout aspect of him really that he brings to the team is his remarkable passing ability, which is a topic I covered extensively in a recent highlights video. But if you review these selected clips from this season from a recent game, you'll witness how pivotal he becomes when the team faces defensive pressure, which in turn initiates swift counterattacks, which is what Forest have been all about. So onto the midfield, which was again a significant challenge last season with playing with a 2. Remo Freuler, often in the defensive midfield role, displayed defensive inclination in his playing style. However, his tackling and defensive stats were subpar compared to his peers in the division. This season's switch to Dominguez has already shown promising signs for me in his short stint with Forest. And on the eye and on the stats, it also looks good. Ryan Yates, who again was a regular midfielder from the previous season, on paper struggles in comparison to the skill set of new signing Sangare, making, on paper again, Sangare a substantial upgrade, even though he hasn't caught fire yet. So let's combine the other midfielders with the attack now. And Nottingham Forest attack went through a substantial transformation this season. If you think last season, they heavily relied on long balls to Brennan Johnson on the right wing, often inaccurate passing to Johnson on the right wing last year from the defence. And their approach was just predictable. Teams could suss it out straight away. They knew from watching a few videos that the ball was pasted out to Johnson. But this season, without Johnson, Forest's approach has diversified, and with the addition of 2 natural wide players, has made their attack less predictable. So we've kind of seen a fairly even split down both sides. Now we need to talk about the elephant in the room. No player divides opinion like Morgan Gibbs-White does right now. Now listen, I'm a frustrated big fan of his. He's a versatile player with a lot of potential. However, determining his position and impact has raised critical questions for me. MGW, known for his attacking prowess, has had a very quiet season so far, managing only 1 assist and no goals. The eye test hasn't been too bad, but at the end of the day, as a number 10 position, you've got to do better than that. When played in wider positions, his total successful actions, which is everything he does on the pitch, how successful he is at doing that event, whether it's a pass or whether it's a tackle or whether it's a shot, has dropped significantly from 65% successful actions when he played as a number 10 to a concerning 38% when he played on the wings. He's not a winger for me. And before you shoot me down, this is my opinion, and I'm trying to back it up with the eye and stats also. He can dribble but doesn't possess great pace, which is something that's fairly critical in a role of a winger. You've seen the pace merchants like Johnson, Mudryk and Gordon struggling at times this season. This is an unforgiving league, the Premier League. Plus, I have to say this, Forest are definitely trying to shoehorn him into a number 10 role that is, in my opinion, a luxury role at Forest. When you have a 10, you have to give up something elsewhere, mainly either dropping a man in midfield to a 2 or playing very narrow up top and dropping your wingers. But I'll tell you something, the surprise for me, and I think it's probably been there all along, but I've only really noticed it this season. I've noticed his defensive skills more. He wins 8.36 defensive duels per 90 minutes this season. 8.36. Mangala's average is 6 per 90 minutes. Sangare's average is slightly less at 8. So that surprised me. I bet that surprised you. Now, he has energy for days and he does track back. Remember last season in a game when he had Casemiro in his pocket winning literally all the tackles against him? So let me cut to the chase. For me, a good option for Forest is shifting MGW to a number 8 role. That could be a game changer. Forest hadn't mentioned this before on a podcast, and I thought it was a bit crazy at the time, but really looking into his attributes, he could actually do a fantastic job as a number 8. Playing MGW as an attacking 8 has its perks. Firstly, it makes him a challenge for oppositions to mark from deeper positions. Plus, this tactical shift enables him to make those sharp runs from deep, taking advantage of the half spaces and effectively attacking the areas in between the centre-backs and the full-backs, kind of no man's land. It also stops the reliance on Forest having to find a space for him as a number 10. This tactical shift also has broader implications for the team's formation and style of play. Having 2 wingers staying out wide instead of cutting inside complements this new approach. Forest, kind of known for having limited natural width due to their wingers often cutting inside, could significantly benefit from this change. Look at this tactics map, which is essentially what Man City, Arsenal and Spurs, more fluidly, do in attacking phases with a 5, with the wingers staying wide, the 2 number 8s hitting that half space, which players like De Bruyne and Maddison love to dominate. And then your striker directly in the middle. Dominguez, this fits into it perfectly because Dominguez and Danilo are also good, both attacking 8s. They both like to get forward, while Sangare can do both the 8 and the 6 role, but I would put him as a 6 initially. Murillo in behind Sangare, sweeping the accurate passes all over the pitch, could really get Forest firing this year with the 3-man, the 2 wide. Also, on tough away games, if we want to go more defensive, rather than playing narrow, we can actually have those wingers inverting to make a 3 up the top. I've got to say, I wasn't a huge Cooper fan last year, but Forest's tactical journey this season is a testament to the coaching team, Cooper, and a shout out for the recruitment team and Marinakis, the owner. The changes in possession strategy, midfield setup and defensive structure have reinvigorated not only me, but the squad and the team and the fans, making them definitely more competitive and more unpredictable. For me, I just have one concern, and that is the lack of cover up front. In both the attacking, i.e. Awoniyi, and the 2 wingers. With Awoniyi currently injured, it could mean that we will have to wait a little bit longer to see if the tactics work the way that I would like them to see them. But my prediction of success and progression at the start of the season was 10 more points than last season. That's realistic progression for me. And also don't forget players like Santos and Omar Bamidele. I've said that right for once, who we haven't seen yet. If you like tactics videos, you can either go either side of me. To the left is the defensive masterclass by Arsenal, and to the right is Ange Ball's revolution at Spurs. See you soon.